Good morning. Welcome to another episode of Force for Growth Live. I'm Ricardo.
I'm Courtney, and thank you for joining us. And you are actually joining us on the very last Wednesday of the year of 2020. And what is Wednesday? Wednesday is hump day. So you can take that meaning for what you will, but here in personal development world, we mean that as in hump over your hurdle. So hashtag hump over your hurdle. So make sure to use that today. And we need to do a contest for that hashtag. Anyway, what are you putting off? So this one's a big one because it's the last one of the year. So this could be something you've been putting off all year. This could be something you've been putting off all month, putting off since COVID, you name it. Get it done. And if you're struggling, you don't know what to do, let us know. We can help. We want to help.
Yes, get it done because right now here in North Texas, it's rainy, it's cold, it might sleet. So if you hump over that hurdle today, you can sit at home and enjoy this cold weather with a hot bowl of menudo or hot chocolate.
Mhm.
Mmm.
Yes. Sounds like the perfect reward for getting your hurdle out of the way and done. So done
Yep,
is the new
yep.
perfect.
Today,
Yes.
wow, this is a big one, Courtney. This is so big that I had to name this part one.
I like it.
Part one, fear. Part one,
Yeah. Big subject.
big one, big
What
one.
does this mean to you?
Oh man, fear is everything that's wrong with the world. We're so scared to do stuff. We're so scared and hesitant to go out there and just do it. And that just gets in the way of everything. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah.
So I've mentioned this before, but one of the things that I've seen a lot lately, and I hope that we see a lot less of, is people posting asking for permission to do something that they've been waiting to do. Like, hey guys, I really want to get a treadmill or an elliptical. Which one should I get? And then 50 comments, 25 for treadmill, 25 for elliptical. And the person's still like, well, what should I do? Dude, just pick one. Just pick one.
Yeah.
You don't have to ask for permission. You don't have to ask for permission to start a new course. You don't have to ask for permission to start a podcast. Just do it.
Hmm.
And
Yeah.
just
Because
do
they're
it.
still just telling you what resonates with them. What resonates with you? Like, what do you want? What
Yeah.
permission can you give yourself?
Yes.
So, I mean,
Mm.
okay, so the issue with fear and our instincts around fear is they're valid. Like we will die one day and the world is a scary place. However, pause, that is always going to be a factor in your life. So, figure out how to work with it. And so we go through our lives. Okay, let me back up. Our brain is a computer. So any question in the entire world you can think of to ask your brain, it will come up with an answer. The problem is we spend all of our lives looking at what will go wrong. What's wrong with me? Why didn't I get this? Why can't I, why don't I deserve this? The largest problem with each and every one of those questions is that they give you an answer that your brain it will find facts to support whatever your brain is telling you. So if your brain's focused on fear and asking very fearful limiting questions or in a limiting mode of life, you're literally using the most powerful tool in your possession against yourself. So if you can just learn to ask better questions, that's where it starts. But it's I mean, fear's physical. The only way you're going to conquer it is something physical, which is
Yes.
an act, and it will dissolve. It might not go away immediately, but fear is a muscle just like courage is a muscle, just like bravery is a muscle. So you're strengthening whatever muscle you keep working and feeding.
Mm. Unfortunately, a lot of people have been working that fear muscle for years and years and years.
Mhm.
And then we find things to be scared about. We find things to feel fear for. And then our brain will sit there, like you just said, find all the reasons why we're scared to do this, find all the scary reasons why we shouldn't do that or even attempt to do it. Ah, man. It's, whew, let me take a breath.
It's big.
So
Yeah.
I'm trying to think of a moment back in the day when I used to have crippling fear where I didn't do anything. And even recently, it started to creep up in a different type of way. Let me elaborate. So I'm scared of water. I'm scared of swimming because I'm not the best swimmer. I've taken lessons. I think I wouldn't drown or die if I fell in the water or in a ocean. However, I'm not the best, just like I can just jump in and go. So that's a fear of mine. And when I think about the idea of someone pushing me into the deep end of the pool, my stomach gets tight, my back gets tense, my face gets rigid, and I feel it. And I'm like, but nothing's even happening. But just even simply thinking about the possibility of getting thrown in the pool, man, no one has to do it. Just the
Mhm.
thought of the possibility of being thrown in the pool is enough to trigger me.
Fascinating.
And that's what happens with a lot of us. That's what happens with a lot of us. We make the story up way bigger in our head than what the reality is.
Mhm. And when you take that and you pair it with, so your brain's job isn't actually to make you happy. That's not even on the list of to-dos that your brain came here to live your life with you with. So your brain's job is only really doing two things all the time. Well, answering every question you ask it, whether it's a good or a bad question, empowering or disempowering. But your brain is always looking for, will it kill me? Does this fit a pattern I've seen before? And so, with exactly what Ricardo just said, when you're imagining things bigger and badder and worse and feeling it in your body before it even happens, if it even will ever happen, you're making this scenario up in your head and you're feeling it and you're really creating it. You're manifesting it when you feel the feelings in your body. But
Mhm.
if that's
It's
already going
real.
on and your brain is already only looking for, does this fit a pattern? Will this kill me? Well, let's say you have an abusive past. So many things, whether verbal, whether physical, somebody stands too close to you, so many triggers, that you will associate to your abusive past. That's an extreme example of a pattern. There are also good patterns like, oh, look at that stranger over there. Last stranger I met was pretty interesting. I think I'll go say hi. There are just little things you can tweak in your brain the same way you're using them right now, as in like, oh, look, a stranger. I need to, hold my bag extra close, make sure he doesn't come mug me.
Mm,
Like, so that's where I say, like, ask better questions because your instincts are there for a reason. You're human. This is how you're built. But if you don't learn to turn this tool around, um, th- I mean, that's the ticket for me has been to turn it around and ask better questions and to actually focused fear dissolves very quickly because it
ah,
becomes something else. So that's if I could sum up how I what I am learning to do right now is focus my fear and it dissolves because it morphs into something else. It's only
mm,
there because it's unknown.
that's so good. One of the things that Jesse just mentioned is one of the things that we learned at UPW. This is Tony Robbins' UPW 101, Dance with the Fear. Dance with the fear. Ah, la la. It might be a tango, might be a salsa, maybe a merengue. I don't know what your favorite dance is, but what if you just dance with the fear instead of letting it drag you around,
Mhm. Instead of
or
letting fear lead.
letting the fear lead you, or trying to pull the fear in a certain way or another. Just be gracious and dance with the fear.
Mhm. Y'all gotta watch because I'm pretty sure he's salsing right now. Yeah, yeah, it's and it can be as simple as that. That's silly. That made a laugh happen. He probably brought up good feelings in his body. If you are having an extremely fearful moment, get up and move your hips. You store a lot of energy in your hips. Get up and move your spine. You store a lot of energy in your spine. Stretch. Get out your yoga mat and stretch. It doesn't have to be extreme. Go for a 10-mile run. No,
But
just
it can be.
it can be. Oh, that is effective. You know, one of the hardest times in my life, I had no idea what to do. I had no idea what to do, but I just remember being like, fear is physical, fear is physical. So I just like went, got my tennis shoes, and I'm not a graceful runner. And I ran. It was nighttime. It's like 8 or 9 at night, but the sun is down. And I ran around my block, but I was screaming some very explicit stuff as I was running. But that was the most best run of my life because it dissolved. A lot of it was left there. And then the resolutions came because I let it out and I actually moved. So I got my body going. So I got the juices flowing. So ideas to solve those problems came. So it all works together. Pay attention. Pay attention. We love you. Wake up.
Question, Courtney Carr.
Yes.
And I don't know why I say Courtney Carr all the time, but I just like the way that it sounds. I've been doing that for years now. Oh
He
well, so be it.
That's how he answers the
Do
phone.
you believe in the fear of success?
I believe in the lie of the fear of success is running over, running through society. Okay, yes and no, because this used to impact me. I personally feel like when you're saying, "Oh, I'm fearful of success," it's actually a different twist on you're afraid of the unknown, or it's fear you're not enough. I don't think it has anything to do with success when you really break it down. Okay, so let's take a step back because there's fear of the unknown, there's fear of success, there's fear of failure, there's fear of not being good enough, there's fear of not being worthy of love. We can keep going. There's fear of running out of money. So
Mm,
many things that impact our lives. Success, that's a BS one. I'm sorry, I got to call it a BS because there are bigger core issues that are running it that those fit under. But if you're on autopilot, being like, "Well, I just have a fear of success," yep, you're never truly going to conquer it. Like, what are you truly saying? And I'm saying this making fun of myself because I used to be like, I guess I'm just scared of success. Well, I can tell
mm.
you right now that was not it.
There's a fine line between the fear of success and the fear of failure.
Mhm.
Oh,
Very fine line. Yes.
very fine line. I dropped my pen, but I'll edit that out in the audio version.
Yeah.
So there's a fine line between the fear of success and the fear of failure. And here recently, this year specifically, I've been flirting with that line. There's something right now that's holding me back from really pushing myself further than where I am now. And I don't know what it is. So I've been really working hard on trying to figure out what's really, truly holding me back. And I don't really have an answer for that just yet. But I have not really believed in the fear of success, and I don't really believe in the fear of failure. However, I have to open myself up to the possibility that it's most likely the fear of failure because the truth is that I grew up relatively poor. Well, not relatively poor, pretty freaking poor. And I worked and I worked and I worked. I made some really good decisions. I've done some really awesome things. And I'm achieving a level of success now that maybe I didn't think was necessarily achievable because of the way that I grew up. And it took a lot of work. It took a lot of pushing. It took a lot of just driving it home. And when I say a lot of work, I mean 18 hours a day, 7 days a week for a year without taking a vacation or a day off. That's how much work it took me to get to where I am. And now I'm 45. I'm comfortable, which is another big thing. And it's the fear of getting uncomfortable now. But it's almost like, do I really have it in me for another push? Or do I just sit where I am now and stay comfortable where I am because everything is actually pretty good? But it's pretty good really enough? Obviously not. But what's a man to do? Excuse me.
Yeah. Thank you for being so vulnerable. And yeah, Ryan, hey, thank you for being here. But yes, we want to show you transparency because in real time, we want to really show you how we've done it. And so these subjects are, we're right in the middle of these lessons in our lives. So thank you, Ryan. I appreciate that comment. Um, Joseph McClendon III once posted a quick little video on Instagram, and the content was, "You don't learn to be fearless, you learn to fear less." And I like that distinction because we're humans. We're never going to we're never going to overcome fear completely. It's never, yes, you will in many categories, in many levels of your life, you will absolutely overcome the fear. But then the next level, there will be another lesson in fear there. So it's the fear less. So I'm using that as two different words. So fear less, not your goal is not to just never fear again. And I like that because it has nothing to do with being this perfect person who doesn't have these emotions, but that's what holds people back. That's what holds people back. It's like they think they shouldn't do this because they're scared of it. And they think the
Mm,
fear is a sign they shouldn't do it. And then they're not meant to do it. And I just want to shake people and be like, no, the fear is the guarantee that there's going to be something better on the other side. Like, you're stuck where you are because you literally are running away from fear in every category. And I'm not saying it'll be comfortable. I'm not saying it'll be fun, but I'm saying look fear in the eye. I guarantee you the demon will dissolve. Trust
Here's the thing. I wrote one word down while you were saying that, Courtney. Risk. Are we willing to take a risk? Are we willing to risk where we are and what we have in order to reach that next level?
it's a big question.
It's a huge question. So maybe it's fear, but it's fear of losing what you already have. That's kind of where I sit because it's like, man, I worked really hard to get to where I am. I worked really hard and I'm really content. Oh, I hate that word. I even hate it just saying it. And it gives me all sorts of just, uh, it makes me so uncomfortable to say content. But that's where I am. I'm content and I'm comfortable and I'm getting the heebie jeebies.
Well,
I
the,
don't even like using those words, but that's really, truly where I am.
would you
That's
say
really,
it's
truly
that?
where I am. But I don't feel that there's part of me that's like, okay, am I really willing to risk where I am now in order to achieve another level? Is it worth the risk? It's a huge question. It's a huge question. Is it worth the risk to take a shot and do something bigger and better? Even though we're already pretty good, is it worth risking to take it to the next level?
Okay, so Ryan just said, Ricardo, you just described what many people who lived through the Depression came out of with. Do I want to risk what I do have? And that's another great point and kind of illusion because, yes, there's some things you'll go after that will, and I'm making this up. I'm not talking about Ricardo, but like if you want to go after this one dream, you might have to give up one of your jobs or your main job. You might not though. And so I think a lot of people get scared and stuck in this area that
Mm.
like they everything will change if they go after this. And that's not exactly true. If that friend judges you for going after something you want, or your partner doesn't like that you chase your dreams, or you name it, so be it. You were meant to know that. Your entire family won't turn on you for following your dreams. Your entire, financial and asset and everything you've built and where you live won't change if you go after one thing. It could. There are exceptions to every rule. That's what I'm saying. Like everything's different, but majority, that's an illusion thought.
Mm.
It's a trap.
Courtney, let me ask you something.
Okay.
Are safe baby steps good enough?
Hmm. Most of the time,
See, that's where I get stuck. That's where I'm stuck. That's
it,
where I'm stuck. In the middle of this conversation, I'm realizing everything that we've accomplished, everything that we've grown, everything that we've developed this year, it's pretty big. We've made some really big strides, but I feel like it's just a little bitty baby step. And I'm like,
okay. So now this is an Eric Worre reference, I believe, but I'm kind of going to add a different meaning to it. So in the MLM world, they talk about little bursts of production. And so what I mean is, let's say you're in the career for 10 years and every year you spend 3 months out of the 12 months, just every single day of those 90 days, you work harder than you worked the day before. And every single day, you are working harder than you've ever worked before in this area of your business. And you just double down, triple down, just go out. And the whole idea is your entire year's production will trickle and ripple from those 3 months. And then next year, after you've reached your next rank or two or three, after you've built your team even more from that burst, then go back and do another 3-month burst. Work
mm,
harder than you ever worked in one day ever. And I mean, these are drastic things, but if you look at it, it's that burst and then maintain, burst and then grow and maintain. And so that's how I am seeing the baby steps with, yes, baby steps are very important. Now, when something's big, hairy, scary, and overwhelming, absolutely break it down into baby steps, bite-sized chunks, just one bite job, just one bite at a time, right? And so, but the opposite is also true. You can't just go on baby steps the rest of your life. You
Mm.
need to jump into some pools. You need to do some fire walks. You need to, and I'm using these all as metaphors, but by all means, jump in
They're
some
all
pools, walk in
metaphors.
some fire. They're fun, effective tools. But you're going to have those laid in front of you, and you can't baby step across a fire.
No,
You
you
don't
really
baby
can't.
step your way into a cold plunge. You just jump.
Oh man. Man, it's like you're talking directly to me, Courtney. Question.
Yes.
What's one big scary thing that you had to deal with this year in 2020?
Okay. So joining a new career mission under a certain plan and seeing very abruptly that plan and it just wouldn't work, didn't mix, not my style, will not be around that type of energy. And actually putting my foot down and making the shift, even though it was scary as hell, because I signed up to be partnered with somebody and I immediately put myself out on my own when I'd already jumped careers and jobs and into commission only income. Yay, the perfect time to go out on your own unplanned, right? But the greatest gifts of growth in my job came from that, but also a lot of other things that just I, I was able to look in the eye and see why I avoid a lot of things. You and I have had a lot of personal conversations. You've helped me through a lot of that, and I thank you for that. But I actually looked him in the eye. I actually looked it in the eye, and the craziest thing looking back on that is that I never had to be anyone but me. I never had to defend myself. I never had to try to prove my worth and prove that, I'm in the right. The universe supported me. God supported me in that. And
Hmm.
all that was laid out for me. I had to hold up my end of the bargain and keep growing, period. And what did result in that is approximately a month or two after that, and going out on my own and really practicing in the life insurance and commercial world. Because, yes, I do the regular insurance like your house, your car, but I have some other specialties that I've built over my decade. And actually getting to show my new bosses what I can do in that area and then becoming their commercial specialist and things like that. So, it took me jumping in the pool when I encountered this moment, and then baby steps, baby steps, baby steps. But the next month, I'd come up to another moment. It's now or never, baby. Jump or it's gone. Like the opportunity can easily be handed to somebody else.
Easily.
And that's another thing. It's such an amazing place that I work for. I love it's a dream job. They can also just give it to somebody else, and find someone just as great as me because they seek out the best. So it also really brings it home to like, do I want to be here? Do I resonate with this place? Does it match my mission? Does my mission match theirs? Are we contributing to each other's? And so there's a job out there for you that's a better fit. And I know it's an awkward time to say that, but it goes both ways in that you need to know where you don't want to put all this pressure on yourself to have everything around you rely on you. So when you know you could leave or go and it'll be fine, that all has to do with your confidence and bravery in you. Doesn't have to do with any outside factor. And so that's what that overall taught me. And so now I feel like that tool will help me in every category of my life. But
Nice.
yeah.
Good share, Courtney. Mine is we last year at the end of 2019, me and Jesse had talked about her quitting her job so she could help us grow the charity. And we talked about it. We talked about it. I was on board, but the honest truth is that I didn't really think that it was going to happen because it was supposed to happen around March or April of 2021. And I was like, okay, a lot can happen in 3 months. So I wasn't really worried about it, but I wasn't really sure 100% confident that it was actually going to happen. However, it happened. Not because we chose it to happen, just because of the changes in the world that happened with Jesse's job. So she was forced to stay home. She was forced to have a different type of position to where it's only a couple of hours a week. So basically, she quit her job. And when it actually happened and it was forced upon us, it freaked me out. It really, truly freaked me out because I didn't feel that I was prepared to handle that. I didn't feel that I was truly prepared to support the entire family and carry the weight of the entire household. And yeah, she's still making some money, but it's just a fraction of what she used to make. And it still helps. However, I felt like this immense pressure on myself, and it freaked me out a little bit. It freaked me out. It was really, truly a wake up call for me to step up and be like, okay, I really need to truly do something different. I really need to start working on growing something and doing something in order to create a stable income, if you will, to take care of my family. And it really hit me because it's like, man, I'm not really truly prepared. I'm not really truly prepared. But when I read the statistics of the average American, we're more prepared than the average American. So it's my standard of being prepared. But either way, the point is that all these thoughts, all these things, all these insecurities, all these fears crept in, and it scared me. It scared me. It shook me up a little bit. It shook me up a little bit. However, looking back at the last 8 or 9 months since she's been home, it's been fantastic. I love it. I absolutely love it. And there was a couple of times here and there where I joked with her and I said, "You're going to have to find a job. You're going to have to figure out how to make some money. You're going to have to do something to bring some money in." And then now I think about it and it's changed. That dialogue has changed to, okay, you need to find a job where you can work your own hours and still bring some income in. So it's changed from you got to go to work, you got to go to work, you got to make some money to no, find something that works with the lifestyle that we currently have, but also brings in some income. Totally different conversation.
Hmm. One's very empowering and one's very not limiting, but like a trap. Like we don't have another option. You have to go. That's that doesn't put your brain in the most open and resourceful state.
Truth is, you don't know what you're truly capable of until you're forced to do it.
Yeah.
And you have two options. Either you're forced to do it or you force yourself to do it. You either allow the external situations and circumstances in the world to force you to make a decision and force you into that area that maybe you've been hesitant to go into, or you take it within yourself to force yourself to get uncomfortable and face a fear and get it done and push forward. It's going to be one of those.
Yeah.
It's always one of those. There's no third option. Unfortunately, there's no third option.
Yeah. So a lot right now at this time in the world, astrologically or spiritually or however you want to say it, but a lot of us are being challenged with victimhood, with our own personal victimhood. And what I mean by that is you're being handed situations one after the other that is forcing you to grow this certain muscle. At the moment, you're going to fall into victimhood where you're like, this isn't my fault. It's because of this. So if ever you encounter a moment like that, especially in this time and age, know that that's pushing you through a fear lesson. So there's a reward on the other side. If there's fear now, that means there's a reward somewhere down the path. Because if you grow, you'll be rewarded. I don't know if that's a new skill, more money, more what a lover, I don't know. But there's a reward there. That's why it resonates and that's why it's raising these emotions. So it's what do we always if you can't, you must. You can't, you must. The wisdom behind that is there's a lesson there. If you're sitting there saying I can't, you have a bigger lesson to learn. And
Yeah.
that's all that is. So if ever you feel like you're in victim mentality, or if ever you slip just into victim type statements and commentary with yourself, just slip out of it, slip into whatever empowering thing resonates with you. But I just want to highlight that. And the second thing I want to highlight is that you talked about being prepared, or you said we're not prepared in your own opinion and your own standard. I've really learned to stretch the word preparation. And on another episode I talked about, I was offered a free ticket to watch Date with Destiny. And I just had packed so much stuff that I couldn't say yes to manifesting, a free watch party of something I really have wanted to do for years. So I've learned a new level of preparation. So I think that fits in the fear category. So
Mm,
just as a trail off, what does being prepared mean to you now? Because just like Ricardo says, he's not his version of prepared, you know? And so just take inventory my definition of prepared used to be like I'm up to today with my work, with my this, with my this. Well, I had to turn down something that would have taken 6 days off of work, and it was something I really wanted to do. So now I've gone back to the drawing board and I'm like, okay, so I've learned I need to push myself 2 3 steps farther, because next time I get that offer, it's going to be a hell yes. It's not going to be a no, right? So I've learned to just stretch the word preparation. So are you actually prepared? And if you're scared to ask that question and answer it, dive deeper. So you just need to set yourself up to say yes to what you want in life. And that involves being a few steps ahead sometimes.
So good. Wow. We packed a lot into this episode.
We did.
That's why this is Fear, Part 1.
Yes.
Numero uno.
Let us know
First
your
episode.
thoughts, you guys. What does fear mean to you?
Yes, fear. Okay. Well, thank you guys so much for tuning in. It's the last episode of Force for Growth Live for 2020. On Friday, we'll be back for our New Year's special. New Year, new you.
Boom.
Question mark. ...
Choice is yours.
Choice is yours.
Choice.
Choice is yours. So we're very excited, and make sure you go to forceforgrowth.com, subscribe to the podcast. And if you're interested, come join us for a morning call. Right, Courtney?
Yes. Yes.
Woo.
6amtribe.net, right?
6amtribe.net, baby.
Yes. It's free. You just got to be accountable to yourself. So come on.
Yep. Wake up at 6 a.m. Texas time. Visit 6amtribe.net to register, just because we want to keep track of who registers and who actually shows up. And we don't really want to put the Zoom number out there in the public like that.
We learned.
But come join us. When is now a good time to hang out with an awesome group of people?
Yes.
Ooh.
We are great. And thank you, Alex. I see you commenting. Alex Segal, thank you for being such a wonderful contribution to our show this year, and to both Ricardo's and my 2020 and Baskets 2020. So,
yes, for sure. We'll see y'all on
Friday
Friday.
in 2021.
Have a great day, everybody.